Xfinity and the Jestival Comedy Festival present Who's Laughing Now? Who's Laughing Now is brought to you by Amada Smarter Office Solutions. Find your virtual office solution at amadaoffices.com.
How does it work when you use our address for your own business purposes? It's pretty simple. You're going to use one of our addresses. We've got great prestigious locations downtown in the city of Chicago, whether it's Michigan Avenue, Clark Street, or LaSalle Street. You've got the opportunity to use that as your mailing address. It's going to be on your website. We'll give you the image to put on your website. Everything looks as though you're on the 47th floor on Clark Street or the 28th floor on Michigan Avenue. Your mail is received by us. Packages are signed for. You can work remotely knowing that we're going to take care of that end. You can either come in and pick up your packages or your mail each week, or we can mail that out to you. You simply pay the cost of postage for us to send it forward. It's pretty simple. You've got the image and the prestige that you've wanted. You're still working from home. All of that for as little as $49.95 a month at Amada Office Solutions.
Do we only provide temporary office space? No, we do not. All right? We have the ability to take an individual that is sitting at home and finally decides to start a business, probably working on a kitchen table. We can take them from that level to a full-service part-time office, used as they need it, when they need it, with all the amenities of a full-service office. We can then move them into a full-time real office once their needs change and their cash flow improves and they want a permanent 24/7 office, right to their own traditional commercial space. We can take it from the part-time office to the full-time office, and as many as they want, long-term or short-term, to a point when they get too large and they want their own space, with their own name on the door and everything else, we can take them to traditional space and move them right in through the whole process and let them take their phone number, let them take their communication system with them. We can even answer all the phones for them when they leave in their own traditional space. So we take care of the non-core business for them. They focus on the core.
Part of the Jestival Comedy Festival, Who's Laughing Now, is taped live at the historic Royal Theater in Danville, Indiana.
It's been coming for some time. The digital age is upon us. We currently play 35mm film. That technology has remained largely unchanged since the beginning of movies. But now everything is becoming digital. And soon, probably by the end of 2013, there will be no more 35mm film for us to play. So we need to convert to digital projection equipment in order to stay viable. So we are trying to raise quite a large sum of money in order to make that conversion and make a smooth and seamless transition from 35mm to the digital age. Well, I think it's big stuff to have a live television event filmed. It's the first time, to my knowledge, that such a thing has been done here at the Royal Theater, so I think that that's fun for the community. They like to become involved in many different things here, so I think it'll be fun for the people to come and see the show and see how it works, and also to raise awareness to our situation, that we're here, that we are open, that we're family friendly, we have low prices, we play movies, we do events, and we're hoping to, the more people that we bring in and the more types of events we do, just raise the awareness and bring in more people to our doors, which helps us stay open and continue to serve Danville and the larger community here.
What inspired me to be a stand-up comic was the fact that in elementary school, I wanted everyone to look at me, to listen to me, and they never did. But now, on stage, they have to listen, and they even pay me. As a young person, what comics inspired me? My favorite was Bob Newhart. He was one of the funniest persons that I knew because he could hold an audience just by the strength of his voice. He didn't have to do anything silly. He didn't have to juggle. He just used his voice. What comics of today do I admire? I really enjoy Stephen Wright because he is so unique, so different, and once again, just using his voice and his ideas. How would I describe my style? Pretty much like my regular street persona, kind of somber, kind of serious, kind of like Bob Newhart. I'm John Pittman. You're watching Who's Laughing Now?
And now, please welcome to the stage, he's a regular at Rollins Retirement Center, John Pittman.
Well, get used to it. I'm every bit as disappointed as you are. You're nothing like what I was expecting either. Just lower your standards and we'll get along fine. I understand your disappointment. You were expecting somebody at least look like a comedian, and instead you got Dr. Phil's dad. I've got the 50 Shades of Grey, but it's probably a little different than what you were thinking about. So. At age 62, working in central Indiana, I am the comic equivalent to the 3 p.m. stripper. I'm just saying at the middle of the afternoon, you don't get the A-tier talent. You know what I mean? She's a little older, she's a little lumpier, she's got a butt like a Bartlett pear. Her thighs, well, did you ever open up a tube of biscuits? But she's still a professional, and that's where I come in, so. Been married to the same person for 42 years. Anybody close to that? Woo! Thank you for applauding that. That's totally underwhelming. A lot of people look at me and say, John, do you still have sex at your age? And as a matter of fact, we do. There is a difference, though. I now require a spotter. I've got kind of a tricky dismount, and I don't want to break a hip, so. Age is, you know, it's not that big a deal. I'm kind of ambivalent towards age. Is ambivalence wrong? Yes, no. Now, that was pretty funny, and you missed it. Doggone it. 50's the new 40, right? Self-delusion's the new BS, too, so. Let me do a little survey here. Enough talking about me. I need to find out who you people are, because stand-up comedy is live theater, and everybody will tailor their material to fit this specific audience. So, little audience participation. By applause, how many of you just love to sing karaoke? By applause, how many of you like to make fun of people who sing karaoke? That determines the level of taste of the audience. Now let's try this. This is just for the guys. Gentlemen, this shows how classy you are. How many of you, when you take the ladies out to dinner, order for her? You're just like me, aren't you? You make her lean across you and shout into the speaker herself, don't you? This is the third and most important question, because this determines the level of sophistication of the audience. By applause, how many of you, while showering, have ever used the toilet? When you did it, did you kick it off to the side, or do you mash it down? Sophisticated people kick it off to the side, so. Lance Armstrong's a big fat liar. Do you care? No. I understand. My attitude on drugs is a little bit different. I want to see all sports have mandatory drug rules. Because if I'm going to spend $7 at a baseball stadium, are they stadiums for baseball? I don't go there to see singles. I want to see home runs. I would like to see drugs mandatory in the Olympics. Really. I'd like to see a sprinter on crystal meth. Because I'd like to see how fast a human being can go before he just bursts into flames. So. Doing okay in my retirement. I saw that there was going to be a fiscal problem coming 3 years ago, and I rolled my IRA into my Speedway rewards points. And, Slurpees and Slim Jims for life. And I supplement my comedy career. I got a pretty sweet deal. I sell Chick-fil-A out of the trunk of my car on Sunday. Kind of a bootleg thing, so. Here's the trick, though. Don't fear aging. There's actually some perks to it. For instance, I'm taking more drugs now than I ever have in my entire life. But some of the drugs I take are contradictory. For instance, I take glucosamine in an effort to take some of the stiffness out of my joints. I take Viagra in an effort to put have to be careful with drugs. All drugs have side effects, don't they? For instance, I take Propecia in an effort to grow the hair. It's working a little bit, but one of the side effects is depression. So I take the Prozac, which is helping with the depression, but one of the side effects is sexual dysfunction. So I take the Viagra, which is helping with the sexual dysfunction, but one of the side effects is hair loss. And that's what killed Elvis. You get caught in that spiral. I wasn't making it up. I really have been married to the same person for 42 years. It's not always easy. You may have heard about this. This happened in my church this past Sunday morning. Satan showed up. He did. Burst up through the floorboards right in front of the pulpit. Smoke, fire, brimstone, that terrible smell of sulfur, ash. Everybody ran. Everybody hid except me. I stood toe to toe with him. He said, "Why aren't you scared?" I said, "It's because I married your sister." There's really not that much more he can do to me, so. She gave me the lights of my life, though. She gave me two beautiful kids. My children are now 37 and 32 years old. We'd originally planned to have 3 kids, but I read a magazine article that said every third child born in the world is Chinese. Now, they're probably okay. I just didn't want one. So. Now, this may startle you. By the way, do I look like every substitute algebra teacher you ever had? I've been listening to a lot of hip-hop music lately, mostly in intersections. Let me finish with this. Troy hit on something that I think is very important. I have been married to the same lovely lady for 42 years. I look around, I see so many young people thinking about getting married, thinking about moving in together, making babies. Here's what I want everyone to do. You just look at that person long and hard and ask yourself the question, is this a person I want to see every other weekend when I go pick up my kids? You guys have been delightful. Thank you.